Hi, my name's Rob Ryder, speaking out of Cornwall. I'd like to do this video regarding investments, which again, depending on where you are in your understanding of how the world works, you may not like what I'm going to say, but it is what it is. So this is the book I wrote, Debt Slavery, the Economics of a Banking Mafia. So investments. So if you go back through my previous videos regarding the book, because I've been breaking the book down, you always have to go back to the very beginning. What is money? What is an economy? What is a financial system? You have to look at, define, and ask these questions about the foundation. And I'm going to mainly focus on what people call the freedom movement or the truth movement, whatever you want to call it. And some of the information that's coming into that's on the fringes of people that I did a video a while back. I think it was about Potosi, La Rinconada, and entrepreneurial scammers. So these are the people out on the fringe, I would say, of the truth movement, or are within it and haven't seen the reality of what an investment means. So life is hard at the moment, and this banking mafia are destroying us financially, making life really hard. You look at inflation, the cost of living, and that's all organized. It's an organized banking mafia. It's just a crime syndicate. And so people are looking for ways to get out of that. And yeah, you have to look your own survival first. No problem with that. And people who maybe have got a little bit of money saved, or they paid the mortgage, got a little bit of money. Now and again, people ask me, what should I invest in? Wrong person to ask, really, because what they're thinking is, how can I protect my money and maybe make some money on that? I have no interest in that. That is part of the economics of a banking mafia. Now, you can study a lot about the economics of a banking mafia, but you don't need to, because that's the criminality we need to get rid of. Like, you can study it forever. Diseases within the allopathic paradigm, but it doesn't matter. If you go back to the series of conversations with Patrick, which we ended early, simply because neither has wanted to drift into all these details of disease, because you're going away from the basics, the fundamental basics, which is all you really need. Same with economics. The economics of a banking mafia is basically, how can I make money off other people's work, other people's energy? It's a form of, because money is a representation of energy, your productive energy, it's a form of sucking energy. And whereas some people might put forward into the world 100 units of energy and want 120 back, that has to come from somebody else. These bankers, they don't put anything forward into the energy field, they just suck it all in. It's kind of a vampiric type of energy sucking system they've created, because to make this money, this currency, you have to get up and physically do stuff. So there are people saying to me, what would you invest in? My answer is always simple: invest in yourself, invest in truth, invest in morality, invest in justice. All right, there are things, ideas, concepts we can invest in, but physically, if you've got money, buy an asset that will make your life more comfortable, more productive. If you've got a little bit of money and you've got a business, invest in a tool in the business. If you're retired, you've got a mortgage, you've paid your mortgage off, you've got some money, what can I invest in? Well, what thing can you buy in your environment that'll make your life more comfortable? Possibly even more self-sufficient, away from the system, which is what we're really aiming for. So there are things that you can buy, but mainly what people are saying, how can I protect my money from inflation and make some more money on it. Well, I have no interest in that because that's the energy sucking system that I don't want to be a part of. And there are people that I've mentioned on before in videos that are on the fringes of what people call the freedom movement, who talk about investments. You look at Brian Rose, Andrew Tate, Rob Moore, all these people who are all about investments. They're obsessed with making money and wealth. How can I survive and thrive in this system that's just strangling us? But they want to make wealth on the back of other people's work. That's what investment is. I put 100 out there, I want 120 back. Well, it has to come from somebody else. If you go back to the video, How to Own the World, I explain how all the different types of banks, high street banks, the central banks, the World Bank, the IMF, investment banks, the pension funds, all these work as one system to asset strip the world. Do you want to be a part of that? I'm not criticizing people outside the freedom movement because they're not claiming to be pursuing freedom and justice. Do what you want, don't care, nothing to do with me. But people within the freedom movement, a lot of people are saying invest in gold and silver. Well, go back to my video about Potosi and La Rinconada and see the consequences, the environmental and the social impact of investing in gold and silver, this illusionary wealth that has no intrinsic value, unless you're a jeweler or something like that. It's an illusion, a delusion. Invest in Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin is just an idea. It's nothing that exists. So you're investing in an illusion. Now, if you'd have bought Bitcoin years ago when it come out, I didn't. And now you've made thousands or millions, whatever. Well, yeah, fair play, but maybe you haven't caused the damage, but you've just made money on an illusion. And plus, we all know the environmental impacts of Bitcoin. If you really care about the environment, not the fake man-made climate change nonsense, but the real environmental issues, the amount of energy these computer systems use for all this technology, incredible. The mind, all that is incredible. So it's damaging to the environment. People who are truly pursuing truth, morality, justice, freedom, but we have to try our best to be beyond all that. Now, it's very difficult in this world not to have some kind of negative impact because of the system we live in. So I don't think people should be obsessed. It's almost, you get people who maybe are vegan, but you try and walk across a field without killing a worm or an insect or whatever. You're always going to impact the world and society and nature. It's impossible not to. So I'm not saying become obsessed with how you spend your money ethically. Why become obsessed? You can't be, because it'll completely control your life. It's crazy. But when people are talking about investments, ask yourself, what do you mean by that? Is it you want to put 100 in and get 120, 30, 40 out? Well, where does that 20, 30, 40 come from? If you have a private pension, this is part of how to own the world. They take your money, put it into pension funds and go up buying stuff, assets, the real wealth in the world. Do you want to be part of that? Now, if you've got a private pension beyond your choice, maybe the business you work for, they have to put that forward, it's beyond your control, don't worry about it. No problem. If you've invested in a private pension before you understood this kind of information, don't worry about it. That's the past. We've all done things in the past. I left school, wandered about for a bit. Then I did 4 years when I was young at the NatWest. I didn't even know they were taking money out in a private pension. And then years later, they contacted me, say, oh, I've got this private pension that's only 4 years worth very little money. Nothing I can do about that. If I'm still alive when I collect it, I'll get a few quid, but it won't be a lot. But I'm not going to reinvest in it, keep investing in it. It is what it is. That's what it was. Okay. So if you've got a private pension you're forced into through work, don't worry about that. If you've invested in the past, don't worry about that. What I'm talking about now, people have got money. Again, people so-called within the freedom movement, or who are leeching onto the freedom movement. I'm not pretty interested in preaching, if you like, to the people who are outside the freedom movement. I'm talking within it. If you've got an idea, I want to invest in stock shares, or I've got and I'm making this money, look how clever I am, and I don't. You're just sucking off people's wealth, sucking the wealth of other people, and they have to work for that. Do you want to? We're supposed to be beyond that. Yeah, we're supposed to be beyond that, but it's happening. So private pensions are what is how these people, investment banks, are owning the world. We need to stop investing in these. BlackRock is Vanguard, BlackRock, or Cargill Group. All these are the, where all this finishes, this banking system finishes with the investment banks going in and, they're going to be buying up Ukraine, which I predicted. That's what it was all about in the end. Buying up Libya and Gaza when it's destroyed. Do you want to be part of that? We're supposed to be above that. And again, I'm not saying you can lead a perfectly moral life in this world. It's very difficult because we've all got to survive. But there are things that we shouldn't be involved in. You either trust in the universe or whatever, or you don't. Regardless of what you do or you don't do, you're going to die. Yeah. I'm not religious, but I'll quote from the Bible regarding storing up treasures in heaven rather than treasures on earth that'll rust. It's a personal choice. I'm not going to criticize people individually. I'm just saying it like it is. There's a lot of people in the so-called freedom movement are telling people, invest in gold, invest in gold. Nothing moral about that. There's a lot of people within the freedom movement who are seeing it as an opportunity to make money. And when I got involved in this seriously in about 2009-10, it never even entered my mind that this was about making money, my own personal gain. It didn't even enter my mind. Now, when I've worked with Patrick since 2014, we've never had conversations about money. It's always been about the project. Is this project worth doing? He's come off his own back. I've tried to get funds to fund an event. We put an event on. Hopefully he's broken even, but we've never had that conversation. It's always been about the project. I'm sure it's cost us both a little bit over the years. Never entered my mind at all in the first few years of doing stuff that any of us could be doing this for our own gain. Now, I've known the UK column since 2010, and I can tell you that there's no financial incentive for them. They were really struggling for a long time, plodding on. They've come to, in the early days, I mean, they're too busy now, but in the early days, they come regular to Penzance, Brian especially, supporting for free to do small talks that we were arranging around here. Brian's done talks with Patrick regarding the political and the health aspect of the NHS, all for free. So I attached myself to people who were doing it all for free. Andrew Johnson had checked the evidence. He'd come up here and say, listen, if you can get me bus fare back, that's great. These are the people we were working with. So it never entered my head that anybody in this arena was after money. It was just pursuing truth to make the world a better place. And then bit by bit, you could see people are making money out of this. And it's very distasteful for me, myself personally. Very distasteful for me. I don't like it. I think it should be called out. If you're in the freedom, if you're not, do what you want. You're not claiming to be morally above this system. The people within the freedom movement, what we're making a statement is this system illusionary system we live in, political system, is immoral, and we have to rise above it as best we can as imperfect human beings. But I've noticed there's a lot of people, yeah, there is self-protection. You have to look at yourself first. But do you want to cross a line and take from others to look after yourself? We're supposed to be above that. And like I say, you can't walk across a field without probably killing an insect. You can't go into the world and maybe take more than you're giving out in some way. It's very difficult. But we should be trying to do that. At the end of the day, everything is free. Everything is free. Everything's given, everything's there plentiful. And we're trying to create a world so that's accessible for everyone. If you're going into this with a mindset, what can I invest in? You've missed the point completely. You're part of the economics of a banking mafia. Might not be popular what I'm saying, but it is what it is. I haven't, apart from that 4-year pension thing that I got with the NatWest, that may or may not be worth anything when I retire. Well, as far as this system's concerned, I'll never be able to afford to retire. But when that gets where it can be collected, it'll be worth peanuts anyway. But I haven't got anything. I haven't got any Bitcoin, I haven't got any gold, I haven't got any stocks and shares. I've got nothing. Nothing. Except a lot of years left to pay my mortgage. I don't care, because when I die, okay, I've done my best to try not to suck the life out of other people when I become aware of how it functions, the world. Before you become aware, what can you do? There's nothing, you're not culpable. When you become aware, that's when you have to take the moral stance. And like I said, there's a lot of people leeching around this. I mean, you look at people who are allegedly Christians or whatever, and they've got hundreds and hundreds of properties they're renting out. But you look at the rents now, it's scandalous. It's scandalous. It's just a business. Nobody's providing homes. They're all businesses now. And people are taking nice big family houses, buying them or renting them, then split them into 5 or 6 little crappy, like Leonard Rossiter Rising Damp type, but going backwards in time, so they can get more people inside to get more money. People who are renting properties, family houses, and then sublet them as Airbnbs and making money. They're taking houses, family houses out of the market. They're all doing it for their own gain. And some people of that, not all, but there are some people on the fringes of the freedom movement, or people who are claiming to be Christians and moral and honest businessmen, or people actually within. And if you're within, you need to be called out. Say, listen, you need to seriously look at how you're making your money. I prefer to go up and down a ladder every day with me squeegee washing windows, providing an honest service till I die, than dive into that world of making money. I really struggle with leeching off other people and ignoring the consequences. And like I say, it's you can't do it perfectly, because everything you'll do will have a consequence. If you've got money, you want to invest, really invest, look at a local business that may need investment. So there might be a local business that is doing well, but could expand, maybe can't get a bank loan. Invest in a local business. Then you're actively taking part. So what you draw out of that, you've actively, earned yourself. Yeah, pension funds are satanic. The whole investment system is satanic. And go back to the video, How to Own the World. The whole banking system terminates with investment banking and pension funds, which go around the world buying up the assets. What all the system has brought that money in, and that's what it does. And it's satanic in nature. And we're supposed to be above that. May not be a popular message, but that's how it is. Again, the gold and silver, completely environmental and social destruction that it caused by investing in that. Think again. Yeah, are we going to take the moral path and the high ground or not? And I'm not sitting here claiming to be this supreme moral being. No. But what I'm saying is I'm doing the best I can within my circumstances to survive. The best I can. And that's all we can do. But you cannot go into the economics of a banking mafia, because then that's the attitude. Well, if I can't beat them, I'll join them. Yeah. Might not be able to beat them at their own game. You don't have to play their own game. You can just walk away.